It's early January. You've got that fresh notebook, a new determination, clear goal, maybe even new highlighters. This is the year you're going to make serious progress towards partnership. You've written down your intentions, build my profile, win more work, delegate more, develop my team. What happened? By February, that new notebook is buried under client files. That conference you planned to go to and network got cancelled because a partner needed urgent help. Your business development time, well, something more urgent came up. Sound familiar? Here's the brutal truth. Most New Year intentions for career progression fail by Valentine's Day. Not because you're not committed, not because you don't want it badly enough, but because intentions without a proper plan and the time to execute that plan are just wishful thinking. If you want 2026 to be actually different, to be the year that you move your career forward, you need to turn those vague intentions into concrete action, and that starts right now. So this is the How to Make Partner podcast with me, Heather Townsend, the author of Poise of Partnership and co-author of How to Make Partners Still Have a Life. In this podcast, I'll be highlighting some of the great stuff in our Progress to Partner Academy. New episodes are released weekly, so press subscribe so you never miss a new episode. Right, let's talk about why your January intentions keep failing and what to do about it. Every January, I watch the same pattern play out. Professionals in practice tell me their goals for the year. I'm going to do more business development. I'm going to build my profile. I'm going to win my own work. I'm going to delegate more. They sound like goals, but they're not. They're actually just vague wishes. And vague wishes don't survive contact with the reality of the workload that's coming your way. Here's what happens. You start January with good intentions, then a partner asks you to help with an urgent client matter. A deadline moves forward. A colleague goes off sick and you need to cover their work. And then before you know it, 6 weeks have passed and you haven't done a single thing towards your career goals. You tell yourself, I'll get back to it next month. But next month brings the same pressures and the month after that. But that's just the reality of the professions. And then you kind of give in. And then we roll round to December and you're making the same promises for the next year. And the problem isn't your ambition. I know it's there. The problem isn't your ability. Look, you're talented. The problem isn't your commitment either. I know you want to do this. The problem is that you've never turned your intentions into a proper plan with time allocated to actually do the work. So why do more business development isn't a plan? Let me ask you something. If I said to you, I want you to close this transaction by the end of March, you'd immediately start thinking about what needs to happen. What are the steps? What's the timeline? Who needs to be involved? When will you do the work? But when you say to yourself, I'm going to do more business development this year, what does that actually mean? More than what? How much more? By when? What specific actions will you take? When exactly will you do them? Without answers to these questions, do more business development. It's just noise. It's not a plan. And without a plan, it won't happen. In chapter 3 of Poise of Partnership, I talk about why generic goals like this fail. Your brain can't act on vague instructions. It needs specificity. It needs to know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how you know you have succeeded. That's why we talk about the one big focus approach with all of our clients, particularly on our corporate programs. This is where the one big focus approach comes in. Instead of trying to tackle everything at once, which is a recipe for doing nothing, you pick one thing to focus on for the next 90 days. Your one big focus is the one thing you want to change or achieve in the next 90 days that will drive your career forward the most. It might be win 120k of new work by the end of March, or systematically delegate to have 5 hours a week for business development, or build relationships with 5 potential referral partners by the end of quarter 1. Note, these are specific. You can measure them, whether you've achieved them, and most importantly, you can break them down into actions that you can schedule into your diary. Because here's the key point. If it's not in your schedule, your calendar, your weekly planner, it won't happen. Your good intentions will be crushed by client work, which is always urgent. Why is it always urgent? Every single time. And the only thing that really works is scheduling it. So once you've identified your one big focus, here's what separates the people who make progress from the people who don't. They open their diary and they block out time to work on it. Not, I'll find the time, not, I'll fit it in when things calm down. They actually schedule it like they would a client meeting. And this is the crucial bit. You then protect that time. When a partner asks if you're free, you say, I've got something in the diary. Could this be done on the next day? You don't volunteer that the something is actually your business development actions. It's in your diary, it's protected. But you're now probably thinking, but I don't have 5 hours a week spare. My diary, my schedule, my calendar is already rammed. Fair point. Which is why you need to get ruthless about delegation. Every piece of work sitting on your desk that could be done by someone more junior is time you're stealing from your career progression. If you can't delegate, you can't create time. If you can't create time, you're not going to move your career forward to the next step and then eventually make partner. It's that simple. So how do you make it stick? And this is going to be the difference between this year and last year. Last year, you had intentions. This year, you are going to open your schedule or your diary or your calendar right now and block out time. But press pause on this podcast, not when you finish this episode. Open that schedule and find those 2 to 3 hours this week when you can work on your one big focus. Block it out. So you're probably thinking, but how do I get started? How do I know what to focus on? How do I know what's going forward? And I get it. You might be thinking, yeah, one big focus is great, but how do I build it? And that's exactly what our on-demand course, How to Truly Commit to Moving Your Career Forward, is designed for. This course takes you through creating a career development plan you're actually motivated to implement. You'll identify your one big focus for the next 90 days, and you'll actually be taken step by step how to do that. You'll create what I call a default diary. You might call it time blocking to protect time for your career development. And then you'll be challenged to build the habits that will support your progression. And by the end of the course, you'll have a concrete plan and protected time in your diary to execute it. Now, that's great. That will take you through in order to build the one big focus. But how do you actually know where to focus your efforts? Start with our free partnership readiness assessment. It takes about 12 minutes and it gives you an instant report showing exactly what key indicators you need to focus on. That then drives your one big focus. So partnership readiness assessment, then into one big focus. I popped a link to the Partnership Readiness Assessment and our Progress to Partner Academy directly in the show notes for this episode. Also in the show notes, you'll find links to my books, Poise for Partnership and How to Make Partners to Love a Life, so you can easily find them on Amazon. And as a thank you for listening, there's also a link for a 10% discount on annual membership for our Progress to Partner Academy using the code podcast10. That's all for this episode of the How to Make Partner podcast. What's your action for this week? Don't think about it. Actually do this. Open your schedule right now. Block out the 2 hours this week to work on your career. Even if you don't know exactly what to do with that time yet, block it out. Because if you don't protect that time now, get filled with something else. Then do the Partnership Readiness Assessment. Then buy an annual membership for Progress to Partner Academy and do the How to Truly Commit to Move Your Career Forward, because that will then get your one big focus done and you'll have that time blocked out in your diary. You'll be taken step by step through that. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or give us a comment on Substack. This helps us get the word out to others who may need this advice too. Remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Thanks for listening.